Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be giving you a 2-month update on my IKEA cabinet. So it has been 2 months since we did the initial build out and stock the cabinet, and I did originally say I was going to give you guys a 1-month update, and I don't know where the time went, but the next thing I knew it had been like almost 2 months, so we are doing a 2-month update instead. And I do want to let you guys know up front, I did remove some of the plants out of there. The number one that I took out of there was my Alocasia cuprea. Shortly after I put it in there, it started putting out a new leaf, and it's the biggest leaf it's put out yet and the tallest one, and it was too tall for the cabinet. So I did take the cuprea out. I also removed my Hawaiian snowbush from there. I think it just wasn't enough light in there for it. So I'm still trying to find the place that plant's going to be happiest in my home. But those are the only two that I removed. And then I did stock a bunch more of my propagations in there. And I will say everybody has been doing pretty good. So as we go along on this update, I'm going to show you all the plants in there, and where possible, I'll try and flash in pictures of what they looked like from the original build out video so that you can have a comparison. And we are going to talk about some of the things that I know I'm going to need to do in preparation for fall and winter to the cabinet, since I know specifically that my humidity is going to drop in this house. But let's go ahead and head into my office where the cabinet is, and we'll get started. All right, you guys, so I do have the lights dimmed down in here just so it's not blowing out the camera footage for you guys, but I did just open the doors. You can see the humidity starting to drop. It was at 71% before I opened the doors, and that's kind of where we've been, is between 71 and 76, and that has been pretty good so far in here, so I'm happy with that. I haven't had to put a humidifier down in the bottom here or anything like that. I have been opening the cabinet up once a day just to get some airflow in there, but I haven't had any kind of mold issues or anything going on, so I'm super happy about that. But let's go ahead and start looking at some of the plants, and I'll explain in a little bit kind of what I think I'm gonna have to do for the winter. But the first plant I want to talk about is this Begonia maculata over here. Do you guys see this? I'm gonna have to move it out because it is hitting the top of the cabinet. And here's what it looked like 2 months ago when we first put it in here. So it has grown significantly. And I will say that I do think the higher humidity is helping prevent the crispy leaf tips that this plant sometimes gets. So it did have this crispy tip on it when I originally put it in here, but I haven't seen any new crispy tips happening. So I do think that the higher humidity does help with this plant, but looking absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to take this one out of here because it is hitting the top of the cabinet. But loving life in here. And I did end up a couple weeks ago moving the little baby rattlesnake calathea from my Is It Really Dead video in here, and it has been pumping out even more new leaves, as you can see, and they're starting to get bigger and a darker green, and so I'm super happy for this plant. We're definitely having our comeback moment, so very happy to be living in here. So I'm just going to leave it in here for the time being until it gets kind of, completely grown back in. But I did move a lot, like I said, of my propagations in here. And let's talk about this watermelon peperomia next, since you guys know I have had issues with this plant before. When we put it in here, it only had 3 leaves, and I'll flash it up on screen for you. It might be hard to tell in the picture that there's 3, but it was this one, and this one. So we have gotten 1 full new leaf since we were in here. But look, it's totally misshapen. So I don't think higher humidity is helping this situation. Once again, I don't know what this plant's deal is, but we have 2 more new leaves starting to come in. So I'm gonna leave it in here and see if maybe they aren't acting weird. At least they're not this new leaf doesn't have any tears in it. But still, I had high hopes that maybe it would help us figure out what the deal with this plant is, but so far apparently not. Next plant I want to look at is this one, which is one of the ones that was growing in my garden, or in my flower bed, I guess I should say. And I didn't know what it was. It hadn't really been doing much. I'll flash it up on screen for you from when we put it in here, but look how much it has taken off since then. And those new leaves are huge. And hopefully I can figure out soon what kind of plant this is, but definitely loving life in this cabinet, that's for sure. Definitely growing a whole lot quicker. So I think it is the humidity that is helping this one out. I do have a bunch of my salsa dancer hibiscus propagations I added in back there, but I want to look at some of the ones on the bottom here in a second because they're the ones that have really taken off, and they were in the original video. So let's go ahead and come down here though to this next shelf. So I did end up putting my propagations from my How to Propagate Alocasia corms in here. So these are my Alocasia Maharani propagations that I did from Corms, and they are absolutely loving it in here. And I don't know, there might be a bit of a glare, but you can see the roots are starting to kind of grow around in there. And one of them is starting to get its second leaf right there. If it will focus, there we go. So that one is starting to get its second leaf, so I'm super happy about that. Oh, I just realized this one over here is starting to get its second leaf as well. So definitely loving probably the higher humidity in this cabinet. And then back behind them is my syngonium that I don't really know what kind of syngonium it is, but let's take a look at what that looks like now compared to 2 months ago when we put it in here. That has grown quite a bit. It is definitely stretching up towards that light very quickly. The new leaves that are coming in looking a little bit bigger. They're looking a little bit more pinkish in color. And so hopefully I'll eventually here soon be able to figure out what kind of syngonium that is, but definitely I think it's the higher humidity in here, and I didn't think it was getting enough light where it was before. So I think these lights are helping. So let's talk about the lights for a second, and I will relink these down below for you guys. I didn't end up adding any more additional lights. There's still just the 2 lights on each shelf, and that seems to be doing well. Now, I will say that I think the plants on the upper shelves maybe aren't doing quite as great as the ones down here on the bottom, but that's just because the ones on the bottom are getting kind of residual light from all of the lights on all of the shelves. But everybody is growing really well, even the ones up here. They're just not growing quite as quickly as the ones further down that are getting that extra light. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the lights. Nobody's got any kind of burn going on, even though the maculata is practically touching this one. No kind of burn. They run super cool to the touch. So yeah, I'm really happy with the light situation right now. It's doing what I need it to do. But let's go ahead and look at some more plants. So I did move all of my marantas in here. Obviously, they're happy because they're all flowering and they're dropping flower petals and things all over the place. So I'm going to have to clean the shelves in here sometime soon. I put one of my Tradescantia propagations back there. It's been growing like crazy. I mean, I'm probably going to have to move it somewhere else eventually because it's just going to try to crawl all over the shelf. And then over here, we still have some more of the tropical hibiscus, variegated hibiscus propagations, some of my frost peperomia propagations. I will say that these are looking a little bit yellowish to me, but maybe it's just the cast from the light. But they seem to be growing okay. I mean, I don't feel like these are necessarily doing a lot better in here. I think they're kind of doing about the same as where they were before. So nothing special going on here from having the higher humidity. But if we come down here, hold on, I'm going to get down on my knees here. So I have some more of the salsa dancer hibiscus propagations. We have some more marantas. Once again, they've been growing super well. This thing from my flower bed has started to put out some additional new leaves, but it's still not growing very quickly. I don't know what the deal with this one is. It's weird. Maybe it's like a full sun plant and I don't know it, but I don't know. I'm going to leave it in here. We'll see what happens. This plant has just been pumping out a ton of new growth. You can see this is the philodendron Brazil propagation that I put in here. And yeah, it is looking beautiful. Some of those leaves though are like almost all yellow, which is crazy. But that also tells me that it's probably loving the level of light in here, but it's definitely liking that extra humidity. And then there is another one of my salsa dancer hibiscus propagations back there, but I moved this one in fairly recently, so it hasn't done too much. But if we come down to this bottom shelf, this is where like the hibiscus have taken off. So I'm gonna have to move that one in the back. Let me move this one a little bit, but you can see that one in the back. It's getting tall. So eventually here soon, I am going to have to take that one out. But here's what it looked like when we originally put it in here. And just look how much it has grown. This one has grown crazy as well. That Asiatic jasmine right there in the back has taken off. I mean, it's going crazy. It's loving it in here, totally loving it in here with the higher humidity. And I think it likes the lighting in here. I think it wasn't getting enough where it was before. But since these were taken off so much, that's why I put all of the other hibiscus propagations in here. And they all seem to be loving it. They like that extra humidity for sure. I was worried it wasn't going to be enough light because they're full sun plants, but they're doing great. So I'm super happy about it. Now I will tell you guys that I am concerned when fall and winter come around that it's not going to be high enough humidity in here because the humidity level in the house is going to drop. But because we are maintaining humidity in here without anything additional like a humidifier or weather stripping or anything like that, of a level of like mid 70s. I think that what I'm going to do in the fall and winter is I'm just going to weather strip the doors and everything on this cabinet to trap in more of that humidity first before I do anything like a humidifier, and just see if that helps. If that does it, then that's all I'm going to do. If that doesn't do it, then we're going to put a humidifier in here. And I'm trying to avoid putting a humidifier in here for multiple reasons, but also if I put a humidifier in here, I'm also going to have to somehow put fans in here to circulate the air. And I think that's going to get a little bit complicated, especially since I'm using the original glass shelves versus like some kind of like grid thing on the back wall to hang pots on and things. But I think it's going to be okay right now for the types of plants I have in here, because these plants don't all need like super crazy high humidity. They're fine with anything pretty much above like 50. So I think the weather stripping will do it. So that's the thing I think I'm definitely going to have to do. But once again, we'll see how it goes, and I'll give you an update in the winter on how things are going. But I am just super happy with how everybody is looking in here, especially that Begonia Immaculata up there. She is just crazy. Now, I will say there is one plant in here that still is doing nothing for me. I told you in the original video it was doing nothing for me. This is one of my first Philodendron cordatum propagations, and it still just has not pushed out a new leaf. So I don't know if we've got like a spent node situation going on in here or what, but I'm probably going to take it out of this pot here soon and investigate a little bit further and see what's going on, because we definitely have roots in there. There's definitely roots swirling around. Just not sure what the deal is, but that's the only one that's not really doing much in here. The string of turtles, they've gotten a little bit more growth on them, not like a crazy amount, but definitely picking up their growth rate in here as well, probably because of that higher humidity. But yeah, once again, I am totally happy with everything that I am seeing in here, especially with these corm propagations, and especially with the Syngonium back there. I am just very, very impressed with how they have been doing in here. So all in all, you guys, I'm really happy with the results I'm seeing so far in that cabinet. And I think the next update I will give you will be after we get into like fall, winter, probably more so winter. I'm thinking I want to give it like 1 month during the winter after doing the other things to the cabinet that I discussed today, to see if growth still maintains at the rate that it's been maintaining, or if I see like significant humidity drops even doing the things that we discussed today, or whatnot. So I think that's when we'll do our next update. So you'll probably be getting that in February sometime. But thank you for coming along with me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If so, please be sure to click that like and/or subscribe button down below. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Aloha!